What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, before we go ahead and get into the actual first initial impressions of Dead Space Remastered, I do want to go ahead and thank each and every one of you guys who tuned into the stream to vibe out with me while I went ahead and played this game. I really appreciate it. It was a blast. And also, if you guys do want to check out any of my other streams, I'll be back on Monday checking out the Battlefield 2042 update live and in action. You guys can find the link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. Like I said, I usually start my streams around, I would say 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, one last thing I do want to mention is I am going to be showcasing the trailer of Dead Space Remastered. I don't know if they're going to allow me. I don't know if it's going to get struck for copyright. But I much rather test my luck with getting struck for copyright than getting struck for using, gameplay that is as gritty and gory as a game like Dead Space actually is. So I'm going to test my luck with the copyright side of things. And if all else fails, I'll figure out some other background gameplay. But at the end of the day, the main purpose of this whole video is to give my first initial impressions of the game. I put in about 5, almost 6 hours into the overall, title. I won't be discussing nor showing any spoilers. And I'll probably have an official review, sometime down the road. But right now, I'll be real. I mean, at the end of the day, you'll probably figure out how I feel about this game. I am having an absolute blast, and there's no possible way that I could hold myself back from not going ahead and making a video. First and foremost, I think the most important thing that we should go ahead and discuss is that this is a remaster that will not tarnish the name of Dead Space. And I think that is probably the biggest thing that people want to hear right now. Even if it's in first impressions, a review, even, hate video, it doesn't matter. I think the main question is this game, good enough to live up to the OG Dead Space? And is it unique enough to be considered, something that should be developed and put out in the year of 2023? And in my personal opinion, it nailed it across the board. This game is absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. Now, in my opinion, back in the day, Dead Space was already a little ahead of its time. But fast forward to 2023, I mean, it still feels ahead of its time. It's so natural. It flows so perfectly. The way that they remastered this game, the bugs, the glitches, basically non-existent. Now, I will be honest, I have run into a few, loading errors where sometimes the map will either not load in or maybe some enemies won't load in. It might happen on the occasion, but I gotta be real. Compared to other games that I've been playing recently, this is nowhere close to being a disaster. They happen so rarely that, I don't get taken out of the experience. From beginning to end, I am sunken into the story. Well, I can't say end just yet because I haven't completely finished it yet, but you get the point that I'm trying to make here. All throughout, I cannot get enough of what I'm playing here. And crazy enough, even for the OG fans, not just for, newcomers to the Dead Space franchise, but even for the OGs, it re-sparks that fire deep down inside. My best example I can make right now is like the Last of Us TV show. A lot of people have already played the full Last of Us game, but, you're watching it and you're still just as invested, as if you never watched it ever or, never played it before. And the same thing goes for Dead Space Remastered right here. It's like, you're reintroducing yourself back into the experience. And I guess at the same time, I can say that the campaign, or Dead Space in general, is such a good game that you could probably run this game up multiple times, and it'll still feel refreshing, especially if you, wait months or even years and then come and revisit again. I bet you if you go back to the OG, it's just, the best thing in the universe. But still, playing this version of the game with the new quirks and, I don't want to say drastic changes because there aren't any drastic change. You look at this game, you play this game, and you still think Dead Space. A lot of OG fans aren't really pissed about anything that has been introduced into the game because the core fundamentals of what makes the game Dead Space are still intact. It's exactly what franchises like COD, Battlefield, all my favorite games lack. They lack exactly this. This is what they need to copy. This is what they need to do. They need to make sure the game has the core. It is what it is, while at the same time evolving it in ways that are still unique and can grasp people's attention, whether they are a new player or even an OG. It'll still grasp them and give them interest, but at the same time, it needs to be the game it is. At the end of the day, I think the question that a lot of people are asking right now is Dead Space Remastered worth the $60 price tag? it's hard for some people to cough up $60 when it comes to remasters, especially nowadays. Maybe I shouldn't say remasters in general, because remasters are great, but with how current gaming is, a lot of games, a lot of franchises are going downhill, and a lot of development teams have proven to us that they just absolutely know nothing about what they're doing. It's just bad, whether it's management, whether it's the publishers, the heads, the top dogs, I don't know who, but they're proving to us that they don't know what they're doing. So a lot of people are stressed about coughing up that type of money because, with that type of money, you can get a brand new game, something that you've never played before, and you can easily just go back to the OG Dead Space and play that. It's not a multiplayer game. It's a single player game. You can go back, buy it, play it any time you want. So realistically, do you have to cough up $60 to get a remaster? Well, I'll tell you from two sides. If you are a hardcore fan, 1010%. I mean, this has to be in your library. If it's not in your library, then, are you really a hardcore fan of the Dead Space franchise? It's the OG GOAT, a fantastic game that looks stunning, gorgeous, perfectly polished off, beautiful additions. It's just, it's what it is, but basically a little bit better, in my personal opinion. And for all the newcomers, yes, get it. Even if you've watched the gameplay before, even if you've watched, maybe some walkthroughs, some playthroughs, other content creators, you know what you're watching, you already know what you're playing, you already know the story of it. Just get it and play it. It's a massive difference between watching someone play it and actually sitting down with a pair of headphones and immersing yourself in the experience as well. Even if it's a no commentary video, it's still drastically different from watching it and playing it. You have to trust me on this one. I would say it's worth it. I can't believe I'm saying it right now, man. We're starting off 2023 strong. This is what I want to see out of pretty much every franchise going forward. I want to see love and passion being stuffed into these games nowadays. That's all I want. And this is a great start. And honestly, there are a decent amount of games that are going to be dropping in 2023. Things like Atomic Heart, Dead Island, all these other bangers. Hopefully bang. I don't want to call them bangers now, but a lot of them are looking good. If these development teams in these games can come out in 2023 and they're actually polished and they work properly and they're decent, I'm starting to partially see a revival of gaming. Maybe not in my favorite franchises, but definitely in gaming as a whole, because I might be a guy who rants about COD a lot. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that gaming has gone down a dark path of live service, and it goes across the board for everybody. Everybody has at least felt a little bit of the live service curse, So I think we all are at a general understanding that that's the direction this industry is taking. So hopefully this will be a great twist to, bring that spark back to games and hopefully inspire a lot of these other development teams to put out passionate projects. It sucks because, publishers still have the final word, but hopefully maybe the publishers will see. Because funny enough, EA publishes Dead Space, and EA is as corrupt as they get, they're right next to Activision when it comes to the worst publishers known to mankind. They are so scummy, so greedy. Just, I hate their practices within their games. But it's crazy to think that EA, published this game out here. EA allowed these developers to truly put out their passion. And, if you look over to the Battlefield side of things, Battlefield 2042 is also getting a complete makeover. Now, of course, that game had an extremely horrible first year, let's be honest. But where it's at current day, it's actually a lot better of a game. Is it like, classic Battlefield? No, it's not like classic Battlefield, but is it a better product now? Yes, it is a much better product. And the fact that EA has been putting on multiple different, new head devs, people who are absolute goats in the overall scene, people who used to work on OG Call of Duty games, who worked on the OG Halo games, who worked on the OG Battlefield games as well, bringing back true OG goats as well, something within me. I don't want to jinx myself because I'm very good at jinxing situations, but something in me feels that EA is partially taking a turn because, and I'll tell you why. Because I feel like for some reason the community that enjoys playing EA games, they take less crap than the people who play Activision games. If you really think about it, if you think about COD or any of these other projects that they have out there, usually people just take it. Activision does what they want to do, and people typically shut up. And yeah, we do voice our opinions. We do make videos. We do make content. We do go on social media and speak our minds. But at the end of the day, they never ever change anything. EA, on the other hand, there's been multiple games. Other Battlefield games have gone through this process. Star Wars Battlefront games. The list goes on where these games just get absolutely crapped on by their community, and EA is forced. Like, it's not even like they have an option. They are forced to take action. So I for some reason I think EA might just be hunkering down and really trying to potentially put out better projects. Again, I don't want to jinx myself, but that's how I'm kind of seeing it right now, especially with how good this Dead Space remake actually is. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. If you hated it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Also, want to chat with me, this is what we do, so I have a Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch, link that's in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.